30 seconds, another person becomes a victim of human trafficking. Every 2 minutes, another child is forced into sex trafficking.
So good morning, good morning, good morning. Is it really a good morning? Well, for you maybe, but for other people who are being abused every day, their answers might not be the same. All over the world, there have been many issues regarding human trafficking. Human trafficking, as defined from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is an organized criminal activity in which human beings are being treated as possession to be controlled and to be exploited. There are some different forms of human trafficking, some of which may be forced labor, sex trafficking, child trafficking, and many other forms. One of the most evident forms of human trafficking is sex trafficking, or also known as prostitution. Women are being tricked into joining an organization, not knowing that they are being forced to join an industry related of prostitution. Another evident type of human trafficking in the Philippines is forced labor. There are two types: forced labor in general and child labor. So now that we have a little bit knowledge about what human trafficking is all about, let us proceed to our first speaker, Kit Kat, to tell us more about the causes of human trafficking.
Although the root causes of trafficking vary and often differ from one country to another, there are, however, many factors that are common to trafficking. Each story behind every trafficked child is unique, but here are the most common causes as to why children are trafficked. The first cause is poverty. In fact, it is the main cause. Parents who are in extreme poverty end up giving their children to traffickers in order to make money. Poverty also causes increase in street children who are the ideal victims of child trafficking. The second cause is lack of education. More often than not, lack of education leads to poverty. Parents that give up their children to traffickers lack guidance. There are enough values that have been taught to them or have been practiced for them to instill in their children. The third is absence of registration. Children that are most threatened or those who were registered in their birth, and because of that, they are not entitled to be given the right to identity. Thus, absence of registration increases the vulnerability to trafficking. Insufficient legislation. Traffickers are more confident in trafficking children because the law seems to be too loose or not strictly implemented. Criminal provisions against child trafficking should be enforced more so that these traffickers would not think twice before committing to such action. Dishonest adoption. One way in trafficking children is through couples that are failing in adopting the child. They can pretend that they would want to adopt a child, but in fact, they have an agenda, and that is to sell these innocent children and profit from them. The sixth cause is lack of awareness. Since the target is the children, then they should be aware of this crime. And it would be better if they knew their rights as well. Parents should also be informed so that they will be more alert in being responsible with their children. Effortless income. Most have a hard time in getting into jobs that can sustain their families. Thus, most of them result in trafficking instead. when we think about it, in trafficking business, does not need credentials for you to enter, but then you just have to follow rules. Lastly, disintegration of family. Families do not tight enough that they do not look after each other. They do not show concern as how families should. If they know their children enough, they would become alert on their children's safety and whereabouts. So, based on all these causes of child trafficking that were mentioned, they are influenced by the social issue, which is poverty. Therefore, it would really help in limiting the spread if poverty is to be resolved.
Thank you, Leda. Let us now focus our attention to a short skit prepared by the group about real-life stories of two women who experienced human trafficking in the Philippines.
My only dream was to go to school. We didn't have any money, so I was forced to put my schooling on hold. But a relative of mine asked me if I wanted to work as a nanny to a 6-month-old baby with a monthly salary of 3,000 pesos. I couldn't say no. Little did I know, I was initiated to a group of girls to work for cyber sites. Thinking of my studies, I really did anything that my clients asked me to do, from modeling naked to doing a lesbian show. Because the one was keep the clients happy or there would be no income. I was 13 back then.